We're officially displaying Arizona on screen now, so you really should be sponsoring us at this point.
We keep saying we're going to email these people. We never do. Maybe at dinner.
He's in charge of marketing, so he keeps saying we.
I'm busy, folks.
Roll the intro.
Hey, is that what we're doing for the intro?
That's it right there. For now.
That sucked.
You suck.
You suck.
That was trash.
We'll include this in there, too.
This is the longest intro we've done. We're at like a minute and a half.
Oh, we're still
That's
going.
fine. It's going to be a long episode.
Ready? I got you. Action.
And...
Can we just start from the top?
No, that's it.
Go.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Here we go.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Subject Matter. I'm your host, Stephen Jenkins, here with your co-host, Mr. Jonathan Dayton, and returning special guests from our previous episodes. We have Mr. Aiden Sensebaugh from our second episode. We have Mr. Jacob Wilson, who we still need to film the second part of his episode, from episode 5. And we have Mr. Trevor McCabe from our 9th episode. I had to do the math in my head on the way here to figure out exactly which episode that was, but I do believe it was the 9th.
And the best.
But
And the best.
and the one where Addie's a man-woman.
Yes.
So, or wait, a woman-child.
No, a man.
No.
A man-woman.
A man-woman, yeah. She said
Yeah.
man-woman. The correct thing would have been a woman child.
Yeah.
But that's not what she said. We
Would that be
are
a
going to
woman?
talk today, as I have said before, we are experts in absolutely nothing. But today we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories.
Yes.
And we want to give a quick shout-out, because this was not a topic created by any of us. It was a topic that was come up with by one of our listeners who has listened to, he's commented on most of our episodes, like from the very beginning, all the way back on the first episode. We were talking about people commenting on something that they would like to see us talk about, and that was conspiracy theories. So we want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Donnie Ness for doing that, friend to us all, and we totally don't know him from the same place, so we all know each other. We don't. That's not how we met. Of course not. But
It's at the ballet studio.
yes, we met at the ballet studio. There's a conspiracy theory. All right. So for the conspiracies we're going to talk about today, generally speaking, anytime you talk about conspiracy theories, it can veer into the world of politics. We're not going to discuss theories that are specifically politically charged. So
Me and Aiden can charge them for you.
that will happen, I'm sure. But
Well, I brought the wrong mug for today then.
But so we're not going to talk about like election fraud in 2016 or 2020 or any of the other elections that might have had fraud in them. We're not going to talk about 9/11. We're not going to talk about JFK assassination. We're not going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, though. For the sake of the meme, I think we're all comfortable saying that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself, and that's a fact on the subject matter.
Epstein or Epstein?
Epstein, however you would like to say it.
You American or German?
Anyway, so
What about Harvey Weinstein?
Huh?
Harvey Weinstein?
That's not a conspiracy theory. That's just
That's just
scandal. That's just kind of out there. So we're not going to talk about any of that, but any other ones, even if they are controversial, we're going to talk about them. And we're not here to make fun of anybody, though we might.
Mike.
Mark Zuckerberg. Lizard, human, other.
We'll get to that. So this is going to be an interesting episode, folks. So the way this is going to work, it's not going to be a simple discussion, okay? We're going to choose one of our topics, which I have here on my computer, and we're going to go to each person. They're going to have a couple minutes. I'm going to say 2 to 3 minutes to sort of give their general
how many
thoughts.
topics are there?
Huh?
How many topics are there? Because
There
I
are
read them in beforehand.
roughly 6-ish, but
Minute and a
they're
half. Say minute and a half, 2 minutes.
let's say 2 minutes because some of them can go a little bit longer.
That's fair.
Are you going to read off the topics to the audience? Or
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
You just can bring
Well,
them up
wait
as you
and
go. Let it wait and see. Suspense. You got to watch the
And then what's going to happen is that after everybody gives their own thing, anybody who wants to rebut can do like a 40-second to 1-minute rebuttal. And then we're all going to collectively vote on whether or not we think the conspiracy theory is true. And because our word is law on the subject matter, that is how it will be. And Addie Dayton's holding up a timer, so she'll call out when our time is up.
Did we just break the fourth wall?
I like 15 seconds.
Only political comment I'm going to make the whole night. Please do better at moderating than Chris Wallace.
I was just thinking that.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
first,
Same brain that one.
Poor Chris.
Ouch.
So, does somebody
Good guy though.
want to give a quick? Does somebody want to give a quick summary, if you will, on the conspiracy theory for the Bermuda Triangle? This isn't your own thoughts on it, just a general summary.
We're going out of order.
Yes.
Yes, we are going out of order.
I'll
Jacob studies in order, apparently.
I'll take the. I'll take that one.
Okay.
So, the Bermuda Triangle, pretty much, just very general summary.
Just general summary.
A lot of ship crashes, a lot of plane crashes, and people and ships were never found. Did I even say any of that right? Ships, planes. I don't know.
You said it
You
fine.
close enough.
Okay.
We have
Planes,
multiple.
trains, and automobiles.
We have a
Anyways.
live studio audience that needs to tone it down just a little bit.
Silence applause. Silence.
People were never found, and most of the boats or whatever was there that crashed were never found. Although, if you go to Bermuda, they have tours of all the boats at the bottom of the ocean there. So that kind of gets into the conspiracy theory. So go ahead, Steve.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start. Aiden, go ahead. 2 minutes or a minute, whatever. Addie will cut you off whenever she wants. Don't
Okay.
cut us off early.
If I'm not mistaken, the Bermuda Triangle is part of 12 of what is called the Devil's Triangles, and these are evenly divided up across the Earth, which is not flat. And
Wow, bold. Already jumping
That is a
in.
topic we'll
Wait,
discover later.
so you can
discuss.
look up on Google the 12 Devil's Triangles, and on the curved map, it'll show all the triangles based out. And you can see that there's research that's been done, and all of those triangles is where things have gone missing or where people have gone missing and everything like that. I don't know what the flight exactly was called, but the one that went over the Middle East, the M93 or something like that flight back in like 2014-ish, that was never found.
Looking at me, but I really don't know.
I thought you would know. That flight was in one of the 12 Devil's Triangles, and it's said that the Bermuda Triangle is the worst one because it's the center of the Earth in comparison to all the other triangles.
Redact.
I redact all my time to whoever else.
It's like the Senate and the House.
Uh-huh.
Let's go ahead and move on to Trevor. What are your thoughts on
person
the
in
Bermuda
California.
Triangle?
Famous one's
No,
Flight
it's a
19.
triangle. Apparently there are more than one. I didn't, but one's the Bermuda because it's where it is. Bermuda,
Central.
Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Anyway,
Ooh,
Um,
I wanna take
yeah, that's exactly.
This is eating up your time.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can use it.
It's a triangle. Things have happened there. Isn't it something to do with?
I mean, he just explained it. I don't.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know.
I didn't get into the religious devil aspect of it a lot.
There's not like, there's like weird. There could be ghosts there, but that's not really.
Well, what do you think?
I don't
What
know.
do you think? That's what we're talking
That's what
about.
people think. I don't know. Like things happen there. Apparently, it's some supernatural forces. Some people think that's right. Some people think that people have bad luck in triangles. I mean,
Triangles are the most.
I think it has to
sound
do with
thing.
something with the science of like the where it is, the location. You know what I'm
Are you
talking
throwing
about?
me the baton?
I'm
Please
I'm
throw the
throwing
baton to somebody who's going to talk.
Stick.
So again, we're not an expert in anything, but so
No.
I looked up. What was that face?
Keep going.
So I did research a little bit on each of these topics because I love research, but I
course
didn't.
you
I
would.
didn't dig deep. You know, we took a flyover. The ship never came out the other side, Bermuda. Anyway, sorry, that was a cheesy pun. But a lot of people are theorizing it has something to do with the electromagnetic waves.
I was gonna say that, but I wasn't confident enough to say that.
If
'Cause
we're
you were
wrong
saying-
about any of this, we can't
My
be more
theory
wrong
ties
than
in that
conspiracy
the
theories. So-
devil messes with the electromagnetic waves there.
We're not
going
going to discount the spiritual aspect of it. But on the other side of it, it's like you said, it's like a perfect location. We can't believe that there's not a perfect spot on the Earth because of the way it rotates and near the equator that it gets stretched.
Yes.
Yes.
I know what you're saying, but
Yes.
yeah, okay.
It's like that perfect scenario, right? It's where all the factors line up and the latitude's right, the longitude is right.
There you go.
That's the short version.
All right, Jonathan, thoughts on the Bermuda Triangle?
This is an odd topic
It
to
is.
start with.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I didn't do research ahead of time, nor do I honestly care much about the Bermuda Triangle itself.
Ouch.
Wow.
I'm just being
You
honest
just
here.
offended all our Bermuda
I'm just being honest
listeners.
here. However, coincidences. I mean, there have been a lot of ship disappearances and plane disappearances, and I have watched parts of documentaries about the Bermuda Triangle, but I really don't have any thought process because things happen like this all over the world. It's not just
Right.
True.
in the Bermuda Triangle that lots of accidents have to occur. So maybe the forces line up correctly. Maybe because it's location.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
So one thing,
supernatural. Who knows?
so the way I argue, and anybody at this panel can attest that this is how I'll generally be for most of my arguments, but the way I usually think about anything, and this is for any conspiracy theory in general, is it more likely that things are as they seem or as they don't seem, if that makes sense?
Can I pop in?
No.
Occam's razor is what you're describing.
Okay.
Because a good way to describe Occam's razor is you hear hoof prints behind you. Are you more likely to assume that it's a horse passing behind you or a zebra's passing behind you? Statistically, it's probably the horse. The zebra's equally likely. You're not looking behind you, so it's really a 50-50. But in the world of statistics, it's more likely that it's an actual horse because they're more prevalent.
Okay.
Occam's razor.
See, that's not what I was saying at all. So,
Well,
what
that's
I
what you
was
should have
I
been
love,
saying.
I
Yeah.
love that though.
Thank you.
It's very good.
What
I
you said was
appreciate
really
that.
That
good.
is very
So
good.
it's the same
That
thing.
means, you pay attention in school.
If you
What?
see a furry thing in the woods, is it
This
more
does
likely
not
it's
count for my time, by the way,
No, it
because
does.
he's.
I was
uh,
never
you're good.
taught
Okay.
that in school.
So what I was trying to say was that in the world of how falsified everything can be, especially with technology and everything, I think it's irresponsible to say that everything is exactly how it's presented, especially when things that are presented will contradict what was said the next day. Now, what I
I'm piecing it together in my head as he's talking. Keep
Now-
going. Still don't get it.
I'm working on it.
as far as what I'm saying is, I think that not all conspiracy theories are true.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying that it's silly to just dismiss them simply based on the fact that they are listed as conspiracy theories.
Good point. Good point.
That's what I'm saying.
Good point.
Because the people who are giving us information, and we'll get to this with subliminal messaging later, people who are giving us information have agendas for what they want us to think. And I'm not saying that means that everything you read is filtered down through something and you're not getting the truth. I'm just saying that it's unlikely that everything is exactly as it is presented to us.
Agreed.
With the Bermuda Triangle, ships disappearing, that's been happening for a very long time. And I have 14 seconds left, but
Titanic.
I was interrupted, and I'm
True.
going to take a
It
little
didn't
more
disappear.
I
It
was
just
gonna-
sank.
I think she paused it,
True.
but keep
I
going.
don't
You're fine.
care. So I'm the host. I
We
can
could
do
talk
it.
about that. but-
What I'm saying is that with that, I think it's honestly more likely
It
that
was the Russians.
that there are
Your time's up.
possibly powers that be
Yeah.
within that triangle, government powers of some sort
Putin.
that just choose that particular
Oh,
location to
I
do
think
whatever they need
you
to do
said the
for political
Titanic was
purposes.
who?
It was Russians.
Russian? No, it was Leonardo DiCaprio. That was it was in Titanic.
I don't
All
wanna take
right,
it
we're
off.
gonna
Anyway.
move on from the Bermuda Triangle. We're gonna go to one that's more fun. We're gonna go to Bigfoot.
There we go.
Bigfoot. Let's start with
Bigfoot.
Trevor.
Bigfoot.
What do you think
I
about
looked
Bigfoot?
up Bigfoot. He's a man.
On Wikipedia.
Maybe he's a creature, big feet.
Yes.
Stating the obvious.
We can also translate this also into the Yeti. And those
Yes.
two specific because they're very.
I'm glad you
similar.
touched on that.
I looked up. I tried to find the last reported sighting of Bigfoot. Didn't find much. The last one I saw.
He's dead.
The last
There's
one,
an entire
the last
show
one-
called Finding Bigfoot.
No, but I was like trying to pinpoint the last big reporting of Bigfoot. I couldn't find one. I was like the last one was like 2009, but it wasn't right. I know that's not right, but that was the only one I found like of last reported sightings of Bigfoot. Also, he changed colors. That's the kind of thing. You look at different pictures.
Okay.
He's black in the one picture, and then he shifts, and then he's like a brown color, and then like so. There is a lot of faking with Bigfoot.
I'm hearing that
Lots
you
of
don't
people-
think Bigfoot's real.
No. Well, no.
We didn't actually vote on the Bermuda Triangle.
Let's just do that quickly.
Let's
'cause
go ahead. Okay, so let's vote and say that. I guess we kind of have all different theories on what it is. What are we voting on?
Bermuda
What is it?
Triangle. Something is supernatural or scientifically caused in that.
Let's put it this way: we can
coincidental
vote that it's
Or it's
not coincidental.
Not coincidental.
So we're voting that it's not.
I don't
coincidental.
know.
Something's
It's definitely,
Wait a second,
it's
okay,
definitely
Jonathan?
not coincidental.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. Okay. On 3, we'll raise our hands if we think that it's not a coincidence.
something's affecting.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Something's affecting it.
Okay. So Aiden thinks that it's a coincidence that all this shit.
Oh wait, no. My bad.
Unanimous. The Bermuda Triangle's not a coincidence. Okay.
Now, what that
Something-
is, we would never. we're
something's
never gonna
influenced.
agree on.
Something's influencing it. Okay. So Bigfoot. Are you finished on your thoughts with Bigfoot?
I think so.
Okay. Jacob.
Okay, let me start off with this. So you know what they say about creatures that have big feet?
No, I don't know what
No.
they say.
Please enlighten us.
Creatures that have big feet. Go ahead. Now we need some more. No.
Well,
Big
they wear
feet
big shoes.
equals-
So does Bigfoot wear shoes? I'm gonna leave that one open ended. Second point of evidence is it's still finding Bigfoot, not found Bigfoot, is the show.
True.
That's very true.
I actually watched the show. Fun fact. I
You
watched
would,
it.
You would watch it.
I really did.
No,
'Cause I was
I
curious.
believe you. I wholeheartedly believe you, Jacob.
I watched all the way to the season final. They said we got all this evidence. It wasn't evidence. No one found the winner got what, this big lump sum of money, and they were going to get published in scientific articles. No one did. So they needed a consolation prize of who had the best evidence. What? Because they needed a DNA sample to prove that Bigfoot is. No one found one on the show Finding Bigfoot, and we're like, oh wow, big shocker. And so I guess to sum up my opinion, I say it's highly unlikely. I'm not going to be a hard definite that no, he doesn't exist. But what? There's 7-ish billion people on the earth right now, and we are all carrying. And this is a thing I'm going to keep coming back to. You carry a really good camera in your pocket at all times.
$1,000 camera.
Yeah, and not everyone does. But you're telling me all of our pictures are from an S3 pixel quality?
Yep.
I'm not expecting it to be clear, crisp, perfect photos, but at least something better than what we have. We have a lot of really crappy photos. So
This is fair. I'll go ahead and take it next. I'm also everything I say about Bigfoot is also very similar to like the Yeti with the abominable snowman and things like that. Now, I would say that it's more possible for something like that to exist even in that cold temperature on Mount Everest, simply because there's not many people going up there as much as there are in the American. It's Northwest for Bigfoot.
is Yeti
right?
separate?
No, they're all different. They're all the same thing described by different cultures.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Which is why I think there might be some validity to the concept that a creature like that could have or did exist at some point.
When it goes back
As
around,
we will
I
get
want
to-
rebuttal yet.
Okay.
When it comes back
As we will get to in a second, with like we're going to talk about like aliens and Area 51 and things like that.
That'd be
If a creature like that did exist, I find it entirely possible that they would have either been killed or taken to some sort of facility.
Can I rebuttal
Yeah.
on that like 10 seconds real fast?
You should go ahead.
I think that the entire Bigfoot thing, because they're so prevalent across cultures,
Sure.
and they're all described the same way, I think that they're a very stealthy animal that people
Okay.
see out in the wilderness.
Go ahead and take
And-
your full time and give
Okay.
your thoughts
Keep
because
going.
I'm basically
So-
finished with mine.
We have Yeti, Abominable Snowman, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, all of them. There's all different names throughout different places in the world, and they're all described very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads
valid.
that's kind of
It's valid.
gives prevalence to that something exists, but we don't know what that something is.
Now, to
So it's probably a very
I'm gonna
stealthy
take 10
animal
seconds for you
that
too.
we don't really find. Just like at the bottom of the ocean, we don't know what's at the bottom of the ocean.
Same.
So that's pretty much my take on it. I
we'll
mean,
go to you as soon as he's done.
Keep going.
okay. Also, being a runner, and if you run out in the woods by yourself ever, you create your own fear as well. So to kind of, this is even going against my case, but people could be creating figments of their imagination to kind of reconcile with their head and say that there is something watching them out while they're in the woods or something like that.
Okay.
There's my take on it.
Okay, we'll go to Jacob for about 40 seconds to rebut, and then I'm going to rebut / share thoughts on both you and his points.
Okay, sweet. 2 points, ocean and Yeti. So, starting with ocean, I am more likely to believe that there is giant krakens, megalodon, like these giant oceanic creatures.
Sure.
Considering that, 78%, some crazy number of the world is ocean.
Yep.
And where are we saying that Bigfoot is residing? In the forest. So you're not going to find Bigfoot in the desert or in these cold climates. Because we're not,
devil.
right? So how much of the 22% of Earth that's landmass are we even suggesting that a Yeti could be? So we have a very small percentage of Yeti inhabitable land because we can't count New York. We can't count big cities. So there's just a lot smaller area for Bigfoot actually to reside compared to. So I'm not saying it's not, but it's more likely I believe that there's giant squids in the ocean than there is Bigfoot.
And there's also like we haven't explored nearly any of the ocean, relatively speaking.
Precisely.
So I
We
agree
know
with
more
that
about
statement.
space than we do the
Than we
deep
do
ocean.
the ocean, which is
crazy.
Scary. Very scary.
Or do we? We'll get to that in a second.
Ooh.
But anyway,
Part
to
two.
sort of talk about.
Yeti.
Huh? Oh. I thought you were talking about the whole thing, but
No,
continue.
no. Yeti's even shorter than that. Yeti is basically, I think it would be more likely that Bigfoot would exist than even Yeti. Because even though I agree with your point that less of the mountain ranges have been explored than some of the forests, it would be a lot harder to sustain life up there for a creature that is more of our size.
I am assuming that if these creatures did exist, they would be able to adapt to whatever climate.
They live in West Virginia. That's where they live.
I'm just saying, there's just, unless it would be hard for herbivore, but maybe.
Okay.
But we don't have very many herbivorish primates
Fair enough.
and stuff.
To what?
in that climate.
What was the exact point that you had made?
What's the exact point that I made?
Right.
Pretty
I'm trying
much
to remember
that
what my
throughout
was.
the different cultures, we all describe.
Yes. Okay.
something.
So what I was
Yeah.
going to say, and I'm not saying this is going kind of against my own argument. Again, I'm going to play devil's advocate for both sides, but I think because you're saying that multiple cultures have that idea, it's possible that they all sort of derive from the same concept.
Yes.
Possibly something
That's
that
true.
existed thousands of years ago.
True.
And just kind of got passed down. The other thing that I was going to say, to your point about the whole Finding Bigfoot show, is that
They have to make
it's
money.
a TV show that has to make money.
And
If you're
keep
doing
interest.
multiple seasons, which did it have multiple
I have
seasons?
no clue.
Okay. If you're doing multiple, I don't know if it did or not, but if you're doing multiple seasons, your goal is not
To find Bigfoot in the
your goal. If you have a show about finding Bigfoot, your goal is not to find
Right.
Bigfoot. It's to not find Bigfoot.
Renew
to
it for another
create-
season to
Elite-
get find
to
Bigfoot.
con-
It's to
continue.
create the intrigue of like,
Exactly.
Bigfoot is it? So, yeah.
That's kind of what I said in the. There's a lot of fabrication.
So Finding Bigfoot has 12 seasons.
Yeah.
They had no intention of ever finding Bigfoot, and that's a conspiracy that I will stand by.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you haven't said much about Bigfoot. Please.
I was letting you guys go. I'll keep my thoughts.
He's gonna say
short and-
Hitler is
no,
Bigfoot.
short and sweet. I probably out of all
in
of you
Australia.
he runs in the woods at cross country. However, I probably spend the most times in the wilderness, outdoors than probably all of you.
Except
Agreed.
maybe Aiden.
Maybe combined.
Possibly.
No, you're in the woods more than me.
And I have never seen anything that resembles something a creature that I do not know. Now, again, my time in the wilderness has been limited to probably within a 100-mile radius of Western Maryland, but I have traveled to. I'm not sure they're taking pictures of over there. However,
Okay.
Canada as well, and I've not seen anything up there in my week up there that's not
Canada?
different. I have been there before.
Wow.
That's different than anything else.
What does a Canadian Bigfoot look like?
Same as the North American. It's the North American Bigfoot, right?
Probably.
I don't know.
It just says
So with that being
he
said,
just
Just
got a
has
little
like
more
the
A in
maple
his
leaf
roar.
on the maple leaf on his chest or something.
Right.
so with that being said, I have a very high thought process that Bigfoot is not realistic creature.
Highly unlikely. That's what I
Highly
say.
unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
Now I'm
Highly
not saying that there could be something out there that we've never
Exactly.
seen because people can miss things all the time. And
We keep
but I
finding
also love
species.
Jacob's point too. Why don't we have any other photographs that are more high quality than
Not even one.
Right. To my point, I
An
that's what I'm
iPod
saying. I don't think that
Touch.
I don't think that if they do exist, that
They're very discreet creatures.
no, I'm
if they
saying
exist.
if they do exist, they don't exist in the wilderness anymore. They exist in some sort of lab. where
Right.
they're
Area
away
51.
from society, which we'll get to in a second. All right, let's go ahead and vote on this. We're saying did exist at some point. Okay.
Oh, well,
yay or nay?
that's a yes. That's a yes.
No.
That's a
Okay.
straight yes with everyone. I
Okay,
think.
all right. Well, let's say, should we say within the last 100 years?
That's fine.
Okay, yeah,
Within
because
the
that
last
goes back
100
to
years.
okay.
It has existed within the last 100 years. All right, 3, 2, 1.
In the last 100?
I think
That
it's
takes
like
you back to like 1920.
you got a
Yeah.
solid. You got a solid trajectory downwards of
split.
extinction,
I'm not
like
even-
of
I'm
a
not-
capture or extinction rate.
I'm not
Right,
even
wilderness.
I agree.
I'm not even
think
a fan of
that's
that question.
the
I think-
likelihood of it still being
We'll propose
around,
another vote question then.
a creature of that
I would just-
nature
I would
still
just
being
say
around.
The possibility of existing or not existing, I wouldn't limit it to the amount of years because that's
Okay, it exists.
So,
Vote.
wait, so possibility of existing or not
at
existing?
some point.
At some point? Well, that's what I said, and then everybody didn't like that.
Then we could.
Because, I mean, we don't know what species actually existed. We couldn't document everything back in the day. I mean, that's why I don't like
Yeah.
that question, personally.
All right, well, majority rules. Bigfoot existed 100 years ago.
It
All right.
did.
Congrats to Bigfoot.
I mean,
for ruling
honestly.
us. I mean, yeah.
He's still
You
plotting
exist,
somewhere in the
Bigfoot.
He's a
lab. Like,
professional hide and seek player. I'm just saying.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to end this episode here. We will be back. We're going to film it right after this. So we will be back to finish our discussion next week with part 2 of Conspiracy Theories. Let us know what your opinion is on the two. We covered 2. Or wait, no, we covered 3? 2? 2. We covered 2 of the conspiracy theories we have.
Yeti and Bigfoot.
And foreshadowed.
And foreshadowed things to come in the next episode. So let us know
Flat,
what your opinion is.
election
And,
fraud 2020.
Oh, no,
we're not touching that one.
no.
We're not touching that one.
Like, comment, subscribe. Addie is crawling across the floor. She could wait 5 seconds to wait until we just stop filming the episode. But
And
no, she
leave
has to
a
crawl
comment
across
below.
the floor.
Hey, if we didn't have
This
someone
is-
crawling,
this
it
is-
wouldn't be a shindig.
This is what you get for being a man woman.
A moo man.
A moo man.
A moo man.
We'll see you next week. Peace.
All right.